has been 312 days since I made my top 5 statues I regret not buying video, and in that video I said number 4 on my list is going to be actually a set of 3 statues made by ShenWu Studio.
ShenWu Studio.
Well, I'm here to say a special thank you to Blur over at Blur Nation Unleashed, who contacted me a few weeks ago offering to sell me both Naruto and Sasuke by ShenWu. I hesitated for all of about a half a second before I said yes, and then we talked on the phone for about an hour, anime, statues, collecting, and sealed the deal. Thank you so much again, Blur. I want to encourage anybody who enjoys anime and manga reaction videos, head over to his channel, subscribe, check it out. I know with Bleach coming back later this year, he is going to be all over that content as the main conductor of that hype train that's to come. Without delay, let's jump on in and take a look at both of these gorgeous statues. Here's a look at the box. It's themed after Naruto's outfit and a nice silhouette of him on the back. Looking at the bottom of the base, we'll see ShenWu Studio's logo as well as the edition size on top, almost 300 made around the world. The diorama or theme on the base is a nice mixture of rock and Kyuubi chakra. On the left side, we'll see it's taking the form of a claw going into the hand of the golem that Hamura was using in the movie. I just love how the orange clear resin engulfs the bottom of the base. We have the on and off switch as well as the micro USB port. The magnets right there are going to be used to attach some extra chakra pieces that they sculpted separately. Now turning this bad boy on its side, the first thing you see is that hole. That's the notch where Naruto's foot's going to key into. The markings on the base remind me of those Megatama symbols we see all throughout the series, but overall I love a nice mixture of clear resin and painted resin at the same time on a statue. I mentioned before the piece that they sculpted separately. Here that is. They have some rectangular magnets. You don't see those all too often on statues. Another one on here, so 2 points of contact to secure it into place. And I love the paint on it with the reds, orange, and yellows, just giving a nice life to it. I don't know if you remember that old school game called Operation as kids, but that's what I'm playing right here, wrapping it around the base without trying to scrape or touch anything. And then we'll get a quick little preview of how the LEDs look on this statue. Easily some of the best that I've ever seen on a statue, and it brings out all those colors I mentioned before, the oranges, the yellows, the reds. I also love how much that golem hand stands out. Next up is Naruto's main body sculpt. A lot of it was made all together, it just came like this. So on this foot, there is a small round magnet, as you can see there, and the other foot is the one that's going to be the primary point of contact in having that notch and steel rod that keys into the rock base. Actually, I'm sorry, I misspoke. That is not a steel rod. That's actually an AC adapter. We'll go over what that's for in a moment. I still find it funny, even at his power level, he has a kunai pouch and a ninja tool bag there. Along the bottom of the neck, we'll see 2 points of contact where we're going to get some long pieces of scarf that are going to key into there. And then his right hand over here has the wrappings all around it reaching out. And this hand, I love it. I love how they have the clear resin that transitions into the painted resin. If you look really closely, there's actually an LED inside of the palm of the hand. And so as I mentioned before, there's a wire that goes down all the way through the body and to that AC adapter that's going to power that single powerful LED. So right now we're technically keying him into the base, but also plugging in that LED at the same time. Here's a nice close-up of the red scarf. We have some steel rods at the very end there. Let me know in the comment section below who made him this scarf. If you know, let me know. As if he already wasn't in a dynamic, powerful pose, the scarf helps to reinforce that. Now here is his head sculpt. Fantastically done overall. I love the emotion going on there with the gritted teeth. Obviously he has that really short hair because he is older. I think they did capture his likeness very well, and if you did see, they had that magnet at the bottom of the head where it attaches to the body. Perfect pose, perfect expression, and with that on there, we have one last giant piece to install on that hand. The GIANT Rasenshuriken. On the back is the notch where it connects to the hand. There's actually no magnets or anything holding this one into place, just gravity alone because of the angle and how it sits on there, but gorgeously colored resin, just like the other pieces on here with the orange, yellows, and reds. As I said before, one of my favorite parts about this statue is that slick transition between the painted arm and that clear resin hand. Awesome, I love it. Now it's time to dim the lights and take a look at this in the dark. How amazing does that look? One singular LED in that Rasenshuriken, and it glows up that much. Overall, probably one of my favorite lit 1/7 scale LED statues that I own so far. If it's one thing I've learned in this hobby, it's that patience pays off. If you miss something or a statue sells out or you don't have the funds at the time, just wait, give it time, and just like a boomerang, it'll come back around. Gonna take a small break and open up some blind bag keychain figures. A few weeks ago, I opened up 3 of these bags, got the regular Naruto and Kakashi and the Chase version of Hidan. Today we are opening up 2 more bags, and let me know in the comment section, there is a Series 4 that just came out. I'm thinking about buying a whole box and just opening those up in a video. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. And for today we have my guy. I love it. I was hoping that we wouldn't get any kind of duplicates of any sort, so huge win there. Now let's jump over to our bag number 2. For those that follow the channel, you do know I have a pug, and so I hope eventually that I do pull a Pakun from here. But let's see what we have for our final figure for this video, and it is Toby. Awesome. He is in more of an alternative outfit here, so great one to pull nonetheless. Another non-duplicate, so huge win. We have 2 more bags after this that we will be opening in future videos, maybe even the next video, so look forward to that. And with that, let's jump on over to ShenWu Adult Sasuke. Just like Naruto, we have the studio's logo and another silhouette. That very same art will be found on the bottom, and also 299 were made for him as well. The LEDs for the first statue were very hidden, while these ones are actually exposed. You can see them, so about 9 little LED dots there, and very much a Rocky themed base going on. It doesn't have all the clear resin effects yet, because they actually sculpted them separately for this one. Sadly, because we don't have those large resin pieces on here yet, it would tip over if I just left it standing up. So we are gonna tip it over on its side as we introduce some of those effect pieces. There are 3 separate little lightning effects that they did have sculpted on here. Here's one. We have a magnet, a notch on there where it's going to connect to the base. So there's that one. And then there is the second one that kind of wraps around a little bit, and then the third. These are not enough to counterbalance just yet, but I did want to introduce those before the head of the Kirin. This is the piece that we'll need to install to balance everything properly. There are tons of magnets and notches because so much of this was sculpted separately, probably close to like 10 or 15 different little pieces that are going to go to make one giant large piece. What's awesome though is even with all these different pieces and all the potential seam lines that could be shown, it looks extremely organic as it comes together. First, we'll go ahead and breeze through installing those smaller pieces on there. So that's what those effects look like. And then we have the giant head of the Kirin that goes right on top of those LED squares we saw before. I will mention I already pre-installed some smaller pieces, about 3 or 4 different ones on there. So you can't even tell, honestly, before I pull them off, you couldn't tell that they're actually there. As we saw before, the Kirin almost looks like it's bald, so we do have to fill in some of these spaces. Here's a larger piece that goes on the left side, and then we have a whisker on the front. Spinning this over to our side on the right, there are some pieces we need to install towards the back and bottom section that are going to fill things out a lot. Unlike Naruto's, there isn't a bunch of different shading that's going on here. It's pretty much the same color all around, but it does work because it is lightning, right? I can't think of tons of different colors that are supposed to be going on for this piece anyway. And to fill out and complete the right side, we have the larger piece, the whisker, and now here's the main cap that's gonna sit on top of everything. I did have to wait to get this one on last because it kind of sits over top of a few other pieces. Amazing engineering by ShenWu Studios to be able to hide so many of those magnets or have so many of these pieces that were attached separately, and again it feels organic and natural, is such a mind-blowing feature for them, so great job. We'll go ahead and light up some of the LEDs to give you a nice little glimpse of what that'll look like. You can see one magnet in the front from an angle. If you turn it over here, it does disappear. And straight up, once you get Sasuke on here, you're not even gonna be looking for any kind of magnets. So here is his main body. Pretty much most of it was sculpted all together. Unlike Naruto, he does attach to the base with a steel rod, not an AC adapter, so no crazy LEDs going on up there, but there's a close-up of the clothing. Pretty mute and dull earthy tones. And then we have the sleeve of the arm that's flapping in the wind because he does not have that one. Very cool to see the body armor sculpted underneath, and these steel tassel pieces here did come broke for the original buyer. He glued them on himself. Thankfully, they did not re-break. And then we have this arm over here, which is not supposed to be missing. That one was just sculpted separately, and that's what his head will key into in a moment. His is a little tricky. You gotta be careful not to knock any of those lightning effect pieces. For the forearm and the hand, they did sculpt it together with that sword, and one thing I love is they sculpted it out of metal itself, so really durable, not gonna bend or break over time. You could easily cut a piece of paper with it as well if you tried. Always got to be very careful with these metal blades. One time I actually dropped one in another video, I didn't capture it, where it dropped on my foot and kind of stabbed me a little bit. On to Sasuke's head sculpt. I'm not gonna lie, something seems a little off for this one. While it's definitely overshadowed when you get the whole statue together, there's definitely something about it that's just off for me. I mean, for the clothing and the hair, it looks fine. It's kind of a little bit more flatter on the bottom because it rests in the bottom of the cloak area, but something about the face is off to me. Great lunging pose overall though, and I've always really appreciated Sasuke's reverse grip hold on his sword. Now this is one of the last lightning effect pieces that we're going to have on the statue, and it's so cool. It's like a lightning stream that he's going to be controlling with his sword. And what really gives off that effect is the very unnatural formation of the lightning itself. Lightning doesn't move in lines or squares like this, so you could really feel as if Sasuke is manipulating and controlling that. While it's not as flashy as Naruto's was on the top side of things, it's definitely still very powerful feeling. Let's dim the lights. Though it only has one LED section, it is a powerful LED that lights up that whole Kirin head. Now let's go ahead and see them side by side. These two look amazing side by side, and I can't wait to add Hinata to this lot eventually. But I hope you enjoyed today's showcase and unboxing. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Do what you love and love what you do. Bam out!